Last month, we talked about 10 easy tips and tricks that boost your productivity and help you get more done. And this month, we're focusing on team productivity. Did you attend our previous webinar last month in April? Please let me know in the chat box at the top of your screens. Sure, we are here all the time. That's great. Welcome again then. Yes, okay. So there we go. I can see that some of you were there, most of you were there. And is there anyone who's new to our webinars? Yes, there is. Holly, welcome. Yes, the webinar is recorded. I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. Okay, so welcome everyone. We are really happy that you joined. My name is Natalia and I will be the panelist for today's webinar. And today we're tackling productivity from a slightly different perspective. We're going to talk about 10 ways that will boost your team productivity and will help your team work even more effectively. As I said just a second ago, we are recording this webinar, so if you can't make it till the end, or if you want to refresh your knowledge afterwards, don't worry, we'll share the recording soon. And just like our previous webinars, this one will take about an hour and a half, and it will be divided into two parts. The first part will be Michael's presentation, which will take about an hour. And the second part will be a standard Q&A session where Michael and I will be chatting and answering the questions sent over from you guys. You can submit your questions in the Q&A box that you can see at the top of your screens. It's right next to the chat box. And please remember to use the Q&A box for your questions instead of the chat, so that we can filter them afterwards and answer your question. And the chat may be used to talk to us during the webinar, and we'll also share some useful links in the chat box. Okay, so before we officially begin, let me just ask you where you're joining us from tonight or today, wherever you're from. So please enter the city or the country you're from in the chat box for me, please. Okay, we've got people from the USA, from Canada, France, London, Portland, Connecticut, California, England, New York, Germany, Miami, Miami again, Minnesota, Latvia, Switzerland, Atlanta, Iowa, Norway. Okay, so here we go again. This is my favorite part of each of our webinars because I can't even keep up with reading all of the places around the world that you're writing right now. So let me just welcome you again. We really appreciate the time that you're spending with us today, and we're going to see Michael in just a second. He's going to present his 10 tips and tricks to boost your team productivity. So let me just remind you that you can enter your questions for Michael and for us during the webinar in the Q&A box at the top of your screen. All right, guys, so without further ado, let's officially begin Michael's webinar, and let's meet our instructor for today. Hi, Michael.
Hello there.
Hello. I'm not getting any better in reading all of the cities and countries. It's amazing. I just can't keep up. Which is good in a way, because we've got so many people.
That's a good one. Yeah, so I'm really happy to see everyone from all over the world. As always, this is fantastic. For me, this is such a privilege that you know, I get to talk to you all guys from, from wherever you are. I mean, from Miami, from, California, from Connecticut, from Switzerland, Latvia, like from all over the map. So this is fantastic. So this is really good. And yeah, this is cool. And today we're gonna, I should be starting soon because I have so much to talk about. So yeah, team productivity is all we're about right now at Nozbe. So something, there's gonna be lots of tips.
Okay, so I'm just going to switch off my camera, and you've got so much content that we should go. So good luck, and I'll see you at the Q&A session.
All right. Okay, everyone. So maximize your team productivity in 10 steps. This is something. This is something that we've been working on at Nozbe for quite a while now, and today you get to hear the latest stuff. So the latest stuff we came up with, the latest feedback we got from our Nozbe customers, especially from our Nozbe business customers who have teams using Nozbe. So there are so many cool tips. Let's start. Let's dive right into it. Well, as you know, I'm Michael Sliwinski, the founder of Nozbe. We have apps for all the platforms, for Mac, Windows, Linux, for the web, and also for the iPhone, iPad, Android, and of course also for the Apple Watch. So this is what we do: productivity software, and this webinar won't be just about Nozbe. So it will be about the theory and practice of running a proactive team. So what we do and what we learned from our customers, and also with Nozbe in mind. So even if you're just a new to Nozbe or not yet a Nozbe user, you will still get lots of value from it. So there's going to be lots of it, and it's going to be 1 hour of me talking. So hopefully you'll take notes. All right. So to learn more about me, you can also hear me weekly. We have the podcast, which we run with my coworker Radek, and we almost recorded 100 episodes. Like in 2 weeks, we'll be recording the 100th episode, so of the podcast, where we talk about productivity, about things we've learned, reading books, and many other topics. So I hope you'll enjoy it. It's always a 30 to 40 minutes show per episode. So I encourage you to check it out, thepodcast.fm. And I'm also the author of 3 books, actually. One of them is iPad only, how to work effectively only using an iPad, but also 2 ebooks. It's all about passion and no office apps. Both are available at my website, and the no office apps book will be in today's pack of the goodies and bonuses that you'll get today for being here with us. And Nozbe just celebrated 10 years. So we've been quite a while around the block here. 10 years of running project and task management software. We've learned a lot, but after 10 years of running Nozbe, I still believe we're just getting started. There's still so much to learn, to improve, to make better. So we're just getting started with Nozbe. Many people ask me, 10 years in, maybe you should try something different or something new. Well, yeah, I'm going to try a new version of Nozbe, which is coming soon. So for me, there is still so much to learn. And I learned so much from you guys, from our customers, from our users, from people who attend these webinars. And this is just amazing. And I won't change it for the world. And I'm also the author of the productivity course. So it's a 10 steps to ultimate productivity course, which is like the frame, like the skeleton, the frame of this webinar. But this 10-step course, it's free on YouTube. You can check it out. Every video is like 5-6 minutes, so it's pretty short and to the point. But in this webinar, like based on the frame of 10 steps, you learn the tips and tricks for teams. So more information here today, but I encourage you to go to productivity course and watch the course after the webinar, or maybe this weekend, to just get the basics right. But I'll mention some of the basics today to make sure that you get the right context for this webinar. All right, and so the theme of this webinar, of this content, of this lesson today, is that you're not alone. This is 2017. We are more connected with everyone than we ever were. Like, we have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. So we have so many cool things, this is a great time to be alive. But also, what it means is that the old ways of doing things, the old ways of just writing your own tasks and not sharing them with others, not working together with others, are not effective anymore. That you should be working with others, and very often you are, but you still try to have your tasks on your own, and and compare them maybe, but not really share them, not really delegate things. Like, really, in this webinar, I'm going to try to teach you a different approach. But before I do, I want to get back to really the basics of how a team should work. And this is something we came up with in Nozbe, and also by talking to our customers, but something we discovered by trial and error very often. So I'm going to talk about my pyramid of communication. So I'm going to switch off the video now to make sure that you can focus on the presentation. And I'm going to talk about the pyramid of communication. What is it? What it means? For us, the pyramid of communication is the way we should communicate every day when we work at Nozbe. The idea being that you spend most of the time in deep work and feedback mode, and the least of the time in meetings. So let me just go through each part of the pyramid. So on the level 1, there is deep work. The idea is that you, as a knowledge worker, you should spend most of your time in deep work mode. So you should be working on your stuff. You should be using your brain, your skills. I mean, this is what you were hired to do. You were hired to do deep work. You were hired to do great work. And this is what you should be doing most of your day, most of your time. But of course, you're not alone. You need feedback from other people. And very often you're building things together. So there's the second level is feedback. But again, the feedback is asynchronous feedback. So this is kind of feedback that you give to somebody, you receive from somebody, and but it's not in real time. So for example, you do something and you send it to somebody to get a feedback, and then you keep doing other things. And then when they have a moment, they will get to it, they give you feedback, and they'll give it back to you. So this is the second level, the asynchronous feedback. So the feedback that happens when the other person can give you the feedback. The idea being also that you don't want to disturb the other person's deep work. You want to ask them for feedback, but at their latest convenience, right? At their earliest convenience, I'm sorry. And then back and forth, this is the third level. This is real-time chat. And this is something we use at Slack. We use Slack, chat rooms and things like that. This is really cool. This is really fantastic, but it is already the third level. So the idea is that you don't spend so much time there as well, because otherwise you get sucked in chatting and talking with people, and you don't have enough time for feedback and for deep work. And then the fourth level is talk to me, is the phone conversation. So it's something that you call somebody, you want to ask somebody a question. It's real time, more real time, but still it's a phone conversation. So you don't have to, look at these people. You can still, kind of do something else, but you can still talk to somebody. And then there are meetings, face-to-face meetings, or we use Zoom, for example, for our meetings. So meetings are level 5. And that's how we see it. And then that's how we are supposed to work. According to our company, according to our experience. But as you look at the pyramid, you might think, or you might see that in many companies, the pyramid is exactly the other way around. Lots of meetings, lots of talking, lots of back and forth, but not that much feedback and not that much deep work. Or you do the deep work, in the early mornings or in the late evenings when, everybody just left the office. So this is not how it's supposed to be. How it's supposed to be. How it's supposed to be is we should, as knowledge workers, we should protect our brains, our skills. We should have dedicated time for deep work, for feedback, for back and forth, and for talking and for meetings. But in this way, and in this amount. And actually, according to, I would want this even more flattened. So I would want even more deep work, more feedback, but less meetings even. So there is more nuance to this pyramid, and this is more nuance how we approach this pyramid, and which apps we use to really implement this in our company. And you'll get more about it in my free book, No Office Apps, and you can get it free if you go to nozbe.com/now. There are all the bonuses there for all webinar attendees, including this book. So you will get it for free. So I encourage you to check it out maybe this weekend and learn, read this. It's a short book, but it's every pyramid level is more explained. But I wanted to give you just the context of this pyramid, because everything I will tell you now will be based on this pyramid and on this paradigm of protecting our time to get deep work done, and doing the feedback and doing the back and forth. So anyway, before we start, I just want to remind you that we are still in the spring cleaning offer. It ends on Friday, so tomorrow. So really, don't wait now anymore. I mean, I would encourage you actually to order right now before we start the webinar. So Nozbe.com/now, you will get, I mean, it's 3 months free if you order for a year. But actually, if you order for a year, you only have 2 months saved. So actually, what you get is you pay for 10 months of Nozbe and you get 15 months. So it's really a great offer. And so it's a great deal, and it ends tomorrow. So make sure to check it out. And also, you get additional bonus, the best of productivity tips and tricks of the compilation of the best articles from Proactive Magazine. This will also come as a bundle in this bonus. So Nozbe.com/now, you will have this ebook as well to download. So make sure to check it out. So all these bonuses and this special offer, Nozbe.com/now. All right, let's start with the webinar now. So after we've studied the webinar, the pyramid of communication, the main theme, apart from the pyramid of communication of this webinar, is to stop using email to manage projects. Email is great. Don't get me wrong. Email is fantastic. Email is very useful. Everybody has it. So it's a great way to communicate, but it is not a good way to manage projects. It's not a good way to keep attachments, to keep documents, to keep stuff. It's not safe because email, when it flies back and forth, it doesn't fly encrypted. So that's the first thing. And second thing, you get all the emails, newsletters, emails from your mom, like all these things, and high priority emails from your project manager or your employees or your team or whoever. So I will try to convince you in this webinar not to use email for collaboration, to try to do something else. So let's start from the beginning. The first lesson of the 10-step course is about clearing your head. So this is like the basics of productivity. Everybody knows that. So the idea is this: you don't keep stuff in your head. You keep it in your trusted system. So if you have to remember something, you don't remember it yourself. You remember it by saving it somewhere, by adding it somewhere, by writing it down. So this is the thing. But so idea being, when you have Nozbe account, you have your inbox, you put stuff in your Nozbe inbox, and that's fine. You have it there. But you can have different inboxes shared with your team. What you can do is, for example, create a shared project. For example, here we have a shared project called Marketing Ideas. And when we have this shared project, what we can do is we can add tasks there. So the idea is there. So for example, I have a marketing idea. What we can do to boost Nozbe sales, I put it here as a task. And this way, other people from my team can see it. And I can leverage their knowledge, because maybe somebody read about it, maybe somebody heard about it, so they just want to, they will pitch in, they'll add more information to this. So if I have an idea, they might want to chip in with their information, and then together an idea may convert itself to a real project in Nozbe, to a real standalone project where we'll just get it done. But it all starts with this project, inbox project for marketing called Marketing Ideas, where everyone is invited, where we just share our ideas. So every idea is a different task, and in this task there are comments. So in the comments you can write more about the idea, write more about what's up and everything. So so this is how we work. And this part of one task and then comment section in this task will be very visible here in this webinar, because this is how we really get things done. So to give you a different example, here there's an idea: experiment with different Nozbe logo. And I'm like, what is this Nozbe logo? Nozbe logo is just one. Like, what do you want? And then explanation. I meant the 10-year Nozbe logo. So I want to explain that we have a decade of productivity, right? So what happened here actually? We have this idea to experiment with different Nozbe logo. And then the idea is taken, further and elaborated in the comment section, where it's been explained what we want to achieve, what we want to do. And after this idea was implemented, we actually, if you go to Nozbe.com right now, you will see that we have a Nozbe logo that says Nozbe 10 years. So we actually, implemented this. So that's the thing: one task, one comment section where everything is explained, where if you need more information, it's there. It's you clarify, you add the task and you clarify with comments. So this way you don't send an email, and in the email you write about this, about that, about something else. You attach an attachment, but then you forget the attachment, as it always happens. Like, there is an order. We know that if we want if we have an idea for marketing, we put it in the marketing ideas project, we add a task, we clarify with comments. So speaking more about projects, as you know, again, basics of productivity, we have tasks, and tasks are being grouped in projects. So this is like, again, the basics of productivity. And projects, are things that you want to do that require several steps, several big steps. So this is what you do, right? And today in this webinar, I want to give you some ideas, again, in team environment, how you can use projects to your advantage, what you can do in the team to really make projects more effective using Nozbe. So here an example, webinar preparation. This project is, this example here, it's a simplified example of what we actually do whenever we have a webinar. So our flow is like this. Whenever we have a webinar, Marcin, who's on the team, and he's here, he has a template, a project template called webinar, and he creates a webinar, like webinar for May, right? May webinar, June webinar. And then from this template, there are tasks, and these tasks are for different people. So as you can see here in this project, webinar preparation, everyone's on the same page. Like by just looking at this project, you know who has to create presentation, who has to create a landing page, who has to configure Zoom, who has to send a newsletter. You see everything. And just think how much more clarity you have here versus if you send an email about the webinar and then you send another different email, then you don't forget to CC somebody, then somebody doesn't know what they have to do. Like all this chaos that is when you just use email to collaborate, instead of having projects where you collaborate in projects, where you access the project and you see exactly who's responsible for what. So here you really see what's up, and you see everyone's on the same page. By just going to this project, everybody knows what's up, what's going on. And another example, recently we had a problem that with a team of almost 30 people, that some things were not said to everyone. Like some things were announced, but only to a smaller group, and then the other group didn't know, or somebody was left out or felt left out. So what we did, we created a project called The Firm. It's inspired by the book, Grisham's book, The Firm. So we created a project called The Firm, so about our company. We invited everyone there, and what we do there, we just announce things. So for example, just today, I did a similar announcement that you can see here in this example, that I'm doing the webinars in English, in Polish, and in Spanish. And I explain in comment what I'm going to do, how the webinar is going to play out. And I say that I'm going to update this task when I have the results of the webinars. And then everyone can comment, and everyone can send maybe some suggestions or some ideas or whatever. So we use this project as these tasks are not really actionable. They are like announcements. But this way, we respect people's time. We don't announce these things on Slack where everybody has to be online to be able to read it. We put it now. We add a comment, so everyone, when they go to Nozbe, check new comments, they can go to this project and see the new comments of this task, and they can be up to date with the things that are happening in the company. So this is really, really important. This way, again, we leverage the asynchronous communication, the feedback, second level of the pyramid of communication. We make sure that people have access to information, to internal information, and know what's happening in the company. And it's clear, and it has a structure. Okay, third step is to communicate through priorities. As you know, in Nozbe, whenever there is a task and you want to make it a priority, what you do is you just put a star to it. Star it, just like with Gmail. You can start an email, you can start a task in Nozbe to make it your priority, which is great and works great. But in Nozbe, I don't know if you know, but if you share projects with people, when you delegate the task to someone, so when you make somebody responsible for a task, it becomes automatically their priority, their next action. So we have this saying in our company, task me with something. So create a task for me. So if somebody talks to me and says, Michael, I would like you to do that and this and that, I'm like, stop there. I get it. I think it's going to be interesting, but just create a task for me in the project that we share. This way, they create a task, they add a comment, and in the comment, they explain what they want from me. And then I can decide what to do about it, when to do it, and how can I be helpful to them. So we have this, no, don't send me an email, don't send me a message, whatever. No, create a task. When you create a task for me, I can schedule it. I can, do something. I can work with it. This way, your request is in my system. Your request is in my system, and then you're also in your system. This way, we can really work together. So, for example, this is very often that we do it with my assistant, like with Natalia. That here's an example that there is somebody wants to interview me, and recently it's been very interesting that people wanted to interview me about our TGIF policy, so about our thanks goodness Friday. We'll talk about it a little bit later in this webinar, but we have this new policy, and it seems it's struck a nerve, and people are asking me about it, and I have requests from journalists about it. So here, there's an interview about it, and yeah, she asked me if I want to do it, and she proposed a Monday. I'm like, yeah, Monday is fine. So what she does is she writes a comment to a task, so task, comment to a task, and delegates this to me. This task becomes automatically my priority. I access it to the priority section. I respond that I say that Monday is good, and I can, I'm asking about the time and everything, and then she replies, and she already puts a date, and you can see the date, 22nd of May at 4 p.m. The date is set. And when I have this task in my priority and I have this date, I can safely remove the priority. So I can unstar it, just remove the star, because I know that on this day, the task will come back to me on the and become my priority. So on 22nd of May, the task will become my priority, and it will show up. So as you can see, this is like we call it the task ping pong. So my assistant creates a task for me, delegates it to me, I delegate it back to her, and then she to me, and then I back to her, and then in the end we figure this out. Task is done, everything is moved forward. So this is how we do it at Nozbe, and this is how we do it not only with my assistant, but we do it with everyone else. So we create tasks, we do the ping pong. This way we figure out what needs to be done, we clear things out in the comments, and then we just get it done. So this is like the way we roll. Okay, step 4. Step 4 is about being mobile, about being accessible everywhere. And this is something, I'm not saying you have to be accessible when you have a private time, but when you're out of the office, you should be able to do things. You should be able to react to things or to help other people. That's why you should basically use Nozbe everywhere, because we have apps for all the major platforms. And in this way, and this is really important, like very often when teams are setting up Nozbe for the first time, and they want to try Nozbe, especially the business version or on Nozbe Pro for a few users, what they do is I tell them, really ask everyone to install Nozbe everywhere. So not just invite them to your Nozbe team, but also ask them to install Nozbe app and log into Nozbe on all of their devices. Because only this way you can really appreciate a system that is everywhere with you. So whenever there's a task for you, you can have a push notification, what's up, you can react to a comment, you can reply, you can be on top of things, even if you're on the go. And this is really important. Or you have your iPad, you use iPad like I do a lot of times. So you really need to be using Nozbe on all of the devices. And Nozbe 6 in the cloud, we have this great infrastructure that we have, triple backup technology, which basically means that even if our servers would blow up right now, we have the exact copy of Nozbe on a different server, a different continent, so we can set up Nozbe in little less than 15 minutes, and you will not even see the downtime. So we can really, quickly be online again, and you won't lose any of your data. So this is really important. That's why really with the cloud syncing, with having Nozbe everywhere, you are able to react, to access information, to add information. As I mentioned in the first step, to add a new task, to add something, to contribute to a project, you can use it everywhere. And of course, then you can use the cool stuff like the Apple Watch, for example. Here I have a dedicated task from Magda about an article that I wrote. So this way I have a push notification. Okay, she wants me to do something about it. And I can access this even on my watch and see what's up, and then can get to it. So with push notifications, with sync, you can access your information everywhere. And this way, if you're doing a pilot of Nozbe in your company, when you're doing it, it just is like the likelihood of it going right, it going perfect, is higher if you ask everyone to use Nozbe on every device, because then people really see the magic, see the thing that, yay, I have access to all the information from anywhere, anytime. And this is the big deal. This is 2017. We have internet everywhere. We have Wi-Fi everywhere. We have, LTE, fast internet everywhere. So like really, 3G, 4G, whatever. I mean, we have access everywhere. So, and Nozbe syncs with everything. So it's really, really cool to be able to use all these devices. And we should really leverage that. All right. So we're coming to the fifth point, which is like the summary of the previous points, that we should really communicate through tasks. We are people are social. We want to communicate with others. So communication is our thing. But you can do like a normal communication, like just talking and chatting and things like that, or but then also you can have focused communication, more structured communication. And I think that in a team, you should have a lot of structured communication through tasks and projects. So lots of people are saying that they discovered Slack, and Slack is so great, and it's a great chat and everything. The problem with Slack, and we use Slack a lot in our company, don't get me wrong, we use both Slack and Nozbe. But Slack we use as our water cooler, our place where we chat. But whenever there's something actionable in Slack, we move it to Nozbe. We move it to Nozbe as a task, because just look at this. I mean, look at the screenshot. This is our Design Fight channel, and Design Fight is our most important meeting. It's about the future of Nozbe. It's where we discuss the features of Nozbe, where we discuss with the designers, where we really fight about the features, about what we want to do in the next versions of Nozbe. And even there, we use GIFs, we use animated stuff, we use funny things. So very often, like, important information gets mixed with an unimportant information, with the with the fun stuff, and there's nothing wrong about it. But the only wrong thing about it could be that when the information is really forgotten. So when the important information goes just forgotten. So that's why, just look at this. We're coming back to this marketing ideas project. When you look at it, you see that everyone's on the same page. We know exactly what's up here. We know exactly who created which task. So whose idea was what, who's responsible for what. We can see if there are new comments coming in, if there are some dates, or if there's anything else. So we see everything here. Really, with this one view, we don't have to scroll anywhere. If you want to learn more, we can tap or click on a task and see more details. But just when looking at the project, we can see exactly what's happening. So everyone's on the same page, and everyone can do that. Not just me as the boss, but everyone who's part of this project. So this is a totally different structure. So I think that we should use Slack and all these other tools to communicate, but to communicate effectively and to really get things done together, we should use a shared project where there is a task and there's a comment. So again, coming back to this idea with this example with the logo, with Nozbe logo, one task is one discussion. So there are no sideways discussions coming up here. There is no random going here. We have one task, we have one discussion, and this discussion is related to this task. This way we communicate through tasks effectively. I mean, this is like, there is no ambiguity. There is no things happening. We know exactly this task, what has to be done. I can read here and I know what's up. And again, in Nozbe, what we do leverage is some of the features from the chat apps. So, for example, we use mentions. We don't advertise it much, but if you use at Michael, or at your name, you can mention somebody. So, for example, here, Natalia, we're discussing, sponsoring this great podcast by Jeff, the 5 a.m. Miracle. So, Jeff Sanders. So, what we do is we're discussing this, and Natalia's asking me, so, Michael, let's keep sponsoring some of the episodes of this show, don't you think? So she's writing, so at Michael. And this way, I get a notification on my iPhone saying, okay, I got mentioned by Natalia about this task. So so this is really cool when she needs more my input, but doesn't want to delegate this task to me, but she just needs my input or some information. Again, with Nozbe, another great feature, and again, it comes to this pyramid of communication, is that the feedback can wait a little bit. So you don't need the feedback right away. And for example, right now, today, I'm swamped because I just did a webinar in Polish, and I'm doing this webinar here with you in English. So, and yesterday I did a webinar in Spanish. So I was really busy with the webinars, and I want to deliver them great. So I was working a lot on the presentation, on these screenshots, on, rehearsing and things like that. So as you can see, I have lots of comments to catch up here. I have more than 100 comments. That's why there is this, infinity symbol there. But I'm going to do it. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow I'm going to just check all these comments. I'm going to see what's up in the company, and I'm going to make sure that I've read everything and that I'm up to date with the company. So if something is urgent, they will let me know. But if it's not urgent, it's in the comments, and I'll have time to catch up. And that's the cool thing, I don't need to be on Slack all the time. I don't need to be on Nozbe all the time. Like today, I can be basically out of Nozbe, just in our webinar project, and that's it. Because I know that tomorrow I will have time to catch up with the rest of the stuff happening with the company. And I think this is great. I think this is respecting other people's time. This is respecting that, today I cannot do everything today, because today I have to focus on delivering you a great webinar. This is my main thing. This is the one thing that I should be focusing on today. And it's fine. This is how it's supposed to be. But then again, because everything's happening in Nozbe, the comments are there, I know that tomorrow I'll be able to catch up. I'm going to be just fine. Okay, let's go to the step 6, categories. Categories like context in David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. This is something that, it's like a tool or a place, like in the theory of getting things done. So for example, computer is the category. So the idea is that you have tasks, you have projects, and some tasks can have categories or contexts. So for example, if something can be done on a computer, it should be computer or phone or things like that. So you'll find all the examples also in my 10 steps to ultimate productivity course. But today in team environment, I want to show you how you can leverage categories to say more without writing more, right? So the idea being is that if you have a shared project, like for example, the webinar project here, you can actually use categories to set status of each task. So for example, if something is preparation, if something is action, so to do now, or do during the webinar, or aftermath after the webinar, right? So here you can see that with this, we communicate more, because just by looking at the project and seeing the categories, I know exactly which status they have. So it's like you can, with Nozbe, this is thanks to this flexibility of categories, what you can do is you can really create a Kanban style thing, that some tasks have this kind of status, others have this status. And what happens in Nozbe, that if you use a category in a shared project, everybody will be able to see it. So this way you communicate more without saying more. You don't need to add anything else. You just added the category, and it's fine. The same way, for example, we communicate with Natalia, my assistant, that she keeps delegating lots of tasks to me. But if she decides that the task really needs my attention, she adds an urgent category. And in this way, even if I have stuff on my priority list, I can just filter them out just to see the urgent stuff and focus on the urgent task first. So this way she doesn't have to add exclamation marks or write me lots of comments or things like that. She just gives me the urgent category, and I know that there are that I have some urgent stuff to do, and I just filter it out. I just see the urgent stuff and just get it done. So it's really, really easy. And this way we can kind of set internal priorities, for each other. And we can, I have all these priorities, but I have these things that are just urgent and I think things like that. So it's really, really cool. And it's a great way to keep communicating, but not through words, but through, symbols or, things that we agreed upon, like categories here. All right. We're slowly getting to the end of the presentation. It's a 7th step. Comment with files. And this is another great feature of Nozbe and another great feature of shared projects and delegated tasks. So the idea is that you can work, again, you can say less and comment with results. So here, for example, we're working on a new contract for a law firm. And I have the first version of the contract. I'm saying that I don't like it or whatever, and then I get a revised version, right? So this way, as you can see, there's so much magic happening here. We work on one file, but we see exactly which version is the latest version and which version is the first version, just by looking at this common thread of this one task. This is why recently lots of law firms started using Nozbe, because they realized that they can actually work more effectively with contracts with their clients using Nozbe by uploading the contracts directly here. And because we encrypt all the files that are being sent to Nozbe, so the files are safe, there's no way that they will gonna leak or anything like that. We keep the files encrypted on our servers, so we even don't have access to these files. This way, the law firms can really work on these contracts, and there's no more sending emails, do you have the latest version or not, or do you have this, can you send me the latest version, or who has the latest version, Stan has the latest version, no, she has, or so this way, open the task, you see who has the latest version. Actually, everybody has it because it's here on this, to download, and you can work on it, you can improve it, you can upload the newest version, and by seeing when it was uploaded, you will, just easily, what was the latest. And again, one discussion, one task, and here one file used several times as different versions of this file. So it's really, really useful, and it's really, really important that it works like that. So lots of teams recently have been using Nozbe because they decided that Nozbe can be not only a great task manager, but also a great resource manager. So they can really move files, between each other with Nozbe, because they can just explain what is up, and they can work on these files here in Nozbe directly. And because of that, Nozbe is also very flexible. We have not only we just support attachments, but we support also Dropbox files, Evernote Box, and Google Drive, and also we support right now OneDrive. So we support like different platforms, whatever kind of cloud storage you use, you'll be able to use it with Nozbe. So if your team is Google Drive team, or like you use Google Drive or Dropbox, you can use that natively and really find your files very easily and attach them here. I use it all the time with my Dropbox files and with my Evernote notes. So it works really great. So, before we continue, again, according to us, this is how we're supposed to work. We're supposed to be focused on deep work, get feedback from people, but on their terms and on our terms, and then only resort to back and forth and talking and meetings when it's really necessary. So this is how a pyramid of communication should look like in every company. And again, to learn more about it, remember to download my book, No Office Apps, from Nozbe.com/now. So remember to get my book; it's free, and there's all the nuance about this there. And while you're at it, tomorrow is the last day, so make sure to act now, just and save 50%. So just get 50% extra. You pay for 10 months of Nozbe, you get 15 months. And if you want to start with your team, I encourage you to do it now. You have 30 days money back guarantee. So, and even more if you ask for it, so it's no problem. So if you have a team that you want to try Nozbe with, and you want to use the offer, buy now. And if you don't like it after a month or something, we'll just give you the money back. So it's there's no risk on your part, but you'll get a great offer. And it's also only until tomorrow. So make sure to check it out. And again, you get also an additional bonus of the ebook about productivity tips and tricks, the best things we got written by the authors of the Productive magazine. Okay, so we're almost done. The 8th step is the review. And this is a part that many entrepreneurs and many companies forget. This is something I was forgetting. I was not doing my weekly review every week, and my team wasn't doing it because, come on, we have 400,000 users all over the world. We have new versions of Nozbe, coming in every time. We use them. We work on them. We work on our content, on the promotions, the webinars, everything. There's just so much stuff to do that you just don't have time to do a review. So this is why it's increasingly important how you should do a review. And that you should do a weekly review. Because weekly review is something that helps you get a perspective to see how well you're doing and plan for the future. And it's like, cleaning a desk. It's nicer to work on a clean desk. Okay, some people thrive when they have chaos and lots of papers, whatever. But most people prefer to have a clean, nice desk. And that's why we introduced this policy called TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, or thank goodness it's Friday. And the idea being that on Friday, so we work on from Monday to Thursday in Nozbe, and on Friday what we do is we do the weekly review. So everybody has to do a weekly review on Friday. This is obligatory. But then later, the rest of the Friday, they decide what to do with the rest of the Friday. They can work on the stuff they want to work on. They can learn new things. They can have like, I can catch up with some conferences, online conferences, business conferences, marketing stuff. They can learn, they can clean up their desk, their files in their computer, everything, during working hours. And this is really important because this gives us this space, this margin to prepare for next week, to really be ready. When Monday hits, we are ready. We know what to do. We know, what we should work on because we did the review, because we are ready. And this is really important. We introduced this policy almost a year ago. It works very well. I see the quality of our work is better. I see we have less, old tasks. We used to have, lots of tasks from, months ago. We don't have them anymore. We really review the tasks. We move them out. We decide what to do with them. Really, it's getting a lot better if you have the review. So I encourage you to try this in your company to really tell your people to do a good weekly review, because a good weekly review really helps you really focus for the future. And this is the best habit ever, really. And you can cheat. So we have a cheat sheet. If you go to Nozbe.how, there are several very good templates for other weekly reviews. So we can have here by Mike St. Pierre, by Chad Garrett, Eric Stetler, Robbie Miles, and there is mine as well. So there are several great review templates that you can import directly to Nozbe. Here is the weekly review by Mike. And what you can see here is also a sneak peek of our new design of Nozbe.how. Nozbe.how is our website where we share where you users, you Nozbe users, and we create templates that we can use later as projects in Nozbe. So the new Nozbe.how is coming next month. We're working on it, and it's fantastic. It looks great, as you can see it, and it supports so many cool things. Yeah, it's coming very, very soon. But again, weekly review, it's really important, really to have this moment of reflection, to plan for next week. And in Nozbe, it's also for Friday, I mean, the TGIF policy, it's also important because after the review, we can learn stuff. And what people are doing right now is very often from Monday to Thursday, if they get some new information or some interesting article about stuff that they're interested in, they don't read it then. They just save it for later because they know that they have Friday for that. This way, we are more focused from Monday to Thursday. And because we know we have Friday to learn, to read, to learn new things. I mean, during working hours, it's fine. The company pays for that. But this way, I believe our team is more prepared for next week, is more focused for next week, and can really attack next week with power. So we're coming back to the roots, coming back to the 9th step, which is about email, is about the fact that we should stop using email for collaboration, something I just mentioned already in the very beginning of this webinar. So before I continue, remember that you can use Q&A to ask questions. So make sure you do ask questions. Our team is there. There's Ivona, there's Natalia, Marcin, and Kuba. They're all there for you to answer. So make sure to ask your questions because we'll answer some of them live here after this presentation. So again, back to email, back to not using it to manage projects and to collaborate. You should focus on making really actionable emails and sending them to Nozbe. So the idea is that if you get an email that requires for you to do an action, it's a task basically, you forward this to Nozbe. And if it's a reference or something like that, just forward it to Evernote, for example, or wherever you keep your reference material. This is what I do. I have 2 contacts. One is Nozbe and one is Evernote that I can use to forward things to Evernote, my reference things, reference library, and to Nozbe to have tasks. And I got this really cool tip from one of the users. I think it was from Jeff Sanders, to actually name, and then from other users as well, to name your Nozbe contact as somebody really different. So for example, in my case, well, if you go in Nozbe to integrations and then email tasks to Nozbe, you set up your nickname and PIN, and this way you get a unique email address, right? And this email address, you copy it to clipboard and you add it to your contacts. And mine is John Doe, but some people use Cinderella, some people use something else. Why they don't use Nozbe? Because Siri doesn't understand Nozbe so well. I regret to say she should understand Nozbe better, but she doesn't. So, and there are many ways to say Nozbe, Nozbe. So, she doesn't understand it very well, but she understands John Doe or Cinderella or, whatever you want to call it. So I tried it and I asked Siri, can you send an email to John Doe? And she immediately understood it. And she asked for a subject and for contents of the email. And this way, when she sent the email, she didn't actually send an email. What she did was add a task to my Nozbe account, because she sent email to John Doe, and John Doe is my email address in Nozbe. And this way I get a task. So this way we can use this Siri hack to be able to send a task to ourselves or to other people using Siri, which is really, really cool. And again, coming back to the way we work, I already discussed this idea with the interview about our TGIF policy, and this all came from an email. So somebody emailed, like a journalist emailed my assistant. She forwarded the email to Nozbe, and then from there we did the task ping pong. So she asked me when we should do the interview. I responded. She responded back. She set it up. Interview happened. We get a few really nice press info on TGIF policy out. So this is how we roll. So from an email to a task, through task ping pong to a task done. This is how you connect email, team, and make everything happen together. So without further ado, it's time for you to start today. I would really encourage you to try Nozbe with your team, and set up your teams, or even if you have a bigger team, set up just a few people that you want to work with, set them up with Nozbe accounts, ask them to download Nozbe on their devices, and start with a few shared projects. Because by default in Nozbe, if you create a project, it's only your project. It's a private project. Nobody can see it. But if you start sharing it, then it becomes a shared project and everybody has access to it, and they can really do stuff there. So why communicating through tasks? Why it's better? First of all, you stay on topic. So one task is one discussion. And this is really key. No sideways discussions, no ambiguity. One task, one discussion. This is so cool. Avoid turning discussions to random. I mean, this is what comes from the first one. So you not use Slack, but use really Nozbe for actionable stuff. Comment with text, checklist, and pictures. Use emoji or even GIFs to spice things up. And again, delegation means responsibility. So if you delegate to somebody, it goes to their priority section. They become responsible for the task. They can write you a comment and ping pong the task back to you. So really, with that, you can really make sure that who's responsible for what. And use mentions, just like Twitter and Slack. Use mentions. This way you can mention somebody in a task without delegating the task to them, but asking them for feedback or for some information. Use like Nozbe, like lawyers do. Work on different versions of one document within one task. It's so easy. You just upload it, download it, work on it, upload it back. It's seamless. It's easy with drag and drop. It's just so fast. And this way, everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows which version is the last one, which version is the first one. Use categories to say more without actually writing more. So create some internal statuses, internal language of your company. One company that I was talking to creates categories for each customer, and this way they can, they know which tasks are for which customers. It's really cool, fun. I mean, really, you can do anything with categories in Nozbe. It's just so flexible. And then asynchronous means you respect people's attention. So what it really means is that you don't expect them to reply right away. You don't expect them to be like, chatting with you or talking to you on the phone or having a meeting with you. When you send a task to them, you know that they will get to it. It goes to their priority section. So they'll be there, they'll check it out, and you can focus on another task. This way, you both use, your part of deep work time. And basically what I wanted to say here is that when you communicate through tasks, you get to done quicker. You get to, completed tasks quicker, thanks to, working together. Thanks to using the pyramid of communication, thanks to using Nozbe, thanks to using all these, tips and tricks that I just mentioned in this webinar. And remember to read more about how we work and how we communicate in Nozbe, how we use the pyramid of communication to our advantage. Get the book, No Office Apps. If you go to Nozbe.com/now. And while you're at it, I encourage you to check out our offer. It's 50% more, and it ends tomorrow. So really act now, act today, and get 10 months and pay for 10 months and get 15 months of Nozbe. So it's the best time if you want to move your team to Nozbe, because it's really a good price right now, or you want to just extend your account, or maybe add more people to Nozbe. Do it now, because now you can do it in bulk, save lots of money, and have your team set up for the months to come. And you'll also get an additional bonus, as I mentioned, additional ebook about productivity tips and tricks. So I encourage you to also check it out. And to wrap it up, I want to just give you some information about our accounts. So we have a free account, a pro account, and for small teams, and business account for teams 10 and more. And the business accounts, it's getting really better. It's getting more popular. We have ad agencies using Nozbe. We have fitness clubs using Nozbe. We have catering businesses. We have law firms, as I mentioned. We have churches and governments using Nozbe business accounts. With business accounts, you get additional features for shared projects, so additional admins in the shared projects, additional features, additional reports. And this is totally new in Nozbe, and also you get super customer support with one dedicated person to your account, helping you not only iron things out in Nozbe, but especially set up your team for success with Nozbe to communicate to the tasks better. And it's all covered by our Nozbe productivity guarantee. So we are here to help you get more done. This is what we do. This is why we do it. We've been doing this for the last 10 years. So it's not like we are new around the block. And this is our mission. This is our passion. This is my passion. And this is why we do the webinars. This is why we share so much, because we want you to succeed. We want you to be effective. We don't want you to use email for collaboration. We want you to use Nozbe, because this will just get you from here to done faster, and will save you stress, and we'll just be better. And this is this is why we have the guarantee. And if even after a month or more you don't like it, no problem. We'll give you a refund, and we'll say bye. But really try it out. We have lots of tutorials, lots of materials. We have the webinars, everything. We record this webinar. We'll send it to you after this. So make sure to check it out. This is our mission, and this is our passion. And speaking of that, Nozbe 3.5, the next version of Nozbe, which we've been working hard on, is coming next week. And in this version of Nozbe, we have lots of great new features, but lots of repeat options. So we can repeat, like more custom repeats, which people really wanted for years now. And also basic search within completed tasks. So if you complete a task, a year ago, you will find it now with Nozbe 3.5. It's already out in beta version, and the release version is coming next week. So check it out. We've been working hard on this one, and I'm sure you'll love it. We're already busy working on Nozbe 3.6, but 3.5 is going to be released later next week. Okay, that was it. Again, I encourage you to go to Nozbe.com/now, get the bonuses, get the offer. It's not going to repeat itself. It's a great offer, and yeah. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them right now.
Hi. Okay, so let's get straight to the Q&A session. We've got some questions that came in already, but if you guys have any more questions, don't hesitate. Just go to the Q&A box so that we can filter them, and so that I can ask the question to Michael. And let's start with the first question from Alan. Will you add the ability to search also in completed tasks? It would be useful, for example, to find the solution of a solved issue figuring in the comment of a completed task. of a completed task?
3.5, baby.
Exactly. That's why I chose this question, because this is something everyone wanted, and even the whole Nozbe team wanted it so bad, and it's coming.
And the search is this thing that you really don't need it all that much, but it's painful when you don't have it. So like there are just these few moments. Yeah, I know I did it. How did I do it? And you will, and if you can search for this task, and you will find this task in your completed project, completed task, way back when, it's just so much easier because you just use your own knowledge again, right? Or then you'll just be smarter and you just create a template from it, for example, because you find the task and you find the project, you will just, get the project back, you create a template from it, and then maybe you even publish it to Nozbe.how, whatever. But like sometimes you just need to find, past performance, past achievement, and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, we've been working on this hard, and 3.5, so the next version of Nozbe, which is coming next week, we'll have it. So stay tuned, and if you extend, of course, today with the special offer, you will get it anyway. So we keep improving Nozbe, and 3.5 is a very good release.
That's right. Okay, so there's that, and now a question from Darko. What would you say is a good way to deal with single tasks? Now I put them in a project called single actions, and for some of them I add the category like email, waiting for call. So what would you say to Darko?
You're doing it great. Basically, this is how I roll. I mean, actually, I have two projects like that. I have one project called my company, which is all my businessy company related tasks, loose tasks. So I don't share this project with anyone. It's my private project. So even Natalia doesn't have access to this project because they are just really tasks that I need to do, and I don't need help for these tasks. If I need help, I put in our common CEO project that we share with Natalia. But I have this project called my company, and these are my loose tasks for my company, for my business stuff. And then I have a project called private. You have single tasks, which is great. I have private, and then I just add private tasks there. So you're doing it great. This is how you're supposed to be doing it in Nozbe. I mean, we are thinking about changing it a bit to really create by default a single actions view in the future versions of Nozbe. We don't know when it's coming, but I'm just saying that we're thinking about it because people have been asking about it a lot, and we've been thinking of solving this, and instead of explaining, but just solving this. But for now, this is the best way. Just create this project, and for me, I mean, I have two projects like that, and I use them all the time.
That's right. So yeah, you're doing it great.
I'm going to just add one more thing. For example, there are lots of tasks about speaking about repeating, because in 3.5 we have new repeat patterns, so we can repeat every first Monday of May or whatever. So there are really cool things coming. You're gonna love them. So speaking of that, there are several tasks, again, my company-wise, that are repeat themselves. I have to pay for something, every 4 months, or I have to, clean up something every X months or something like that. So I have even a third project for that. So I have a project for repeating chores, let's call it, and then I just put these chores there. So there are no like single tasks there. They're all, they're all single tasks, but they're all tasks that repeat themselves. So like yeah, I have the project called chores or single, I don't remember how it's called exactly, but something like that. And this way, whenever there's a task that has to be repeated and has to be done every now and then, I just put it there. So this way, I don't really have to review this project because whenever the date comes, a task from this project will show up. And if there is a new repeating chore that shows up, I'm just going to add it to this project and forget about it because it's going to just show up.
Okay, so thank you for that. And another question from Darko is there a plan to add an option to start and stop a task so you can measure the time you spent working on it?
It's another thing that we're investigating right now. So we've been already studying this thing. Yeah, there is a plan for that. So it's on our in our pipeline. Again, I can't promise you when it's coming and exactly, but we're working on this as well. Yes, we've been tackling this problem for a while now because on one hand, we don't want to make Nozbe a fully fledged, time tracker thingy, because there are time trackers for that. On the other hand, we do appreciate some kind of time tracking possibility. Functionality, because you have already your tasks there, right? So it's kind of useful to be able to track that. So and not to just export your tasks from Nozbe to a time tracker and then import them back or things like that. So that's why we are studying this, and we're thinking about it, how to make it pretty simple but still a compelling feature. Because we have to just understand that if when we add a feature like that, there will be lots of requests of making it more advanced, and we have to mind our users that we want Nozbe to still be agile, flexible, simple, easy to use while being advanced. So this is this is the balance that we always have to be striking, of making Nozbe very advanced, but then again pretty simple to use, so that new users or people who don't require so many advanced features don't get lost, because then they see so many switches and things like that, and settings and whatever. So we have to strike the balance. But yeah, we're working on this because there are a few things that we can really do well with that. So stay tuned.
And we've had so many suggestions about different time tracking apps. So we're still investigating if we rather want to integrate with some other app, or just to develop our own system for tracking each task. So yeah, this is.
Or to do a hybrid, like some of the features and then the rest would be with integrated.
There's a lot to explore. So
exactly, we're exploring this right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now a question from Davida. Do you plan to integrate with iCal?
Yeah. It's also on our roadmap.
It's on our roadmap, and I'm just going to add that there is a trick that you can use to integrate your iCal with Nozbe, and this is through Gcall. So if you use Google Calendar, you can integrate through Gcall, and there's a blog post on this on our Nozbe blog, so make sure to check it out.
Yeah, so there is because we have the Google Calendar integration both ways. So with that, you can actually use iCal as well, but we are working on a more native implementation as well.
Okay. Now let's move on to a question from David. What are best practices for when and when not to create a project versus just tracking a task? For example, some of my projects are 2 to 5 steps, and it seems like it takes too much time to create a project in Nozbe versus just creating a task.
Okay, so I have 2 things for you. First of all, it would be great if you saw last month's webinar, because I was talking about this last month. About it was one of the ideas of how to use that. So basically, what I said in the last month's webinar was that there is a time, like David Allen says, that everything that requires several steps, it's a project, and this is like the GTD method. And I don't agree. So I say, yeah, it makes sense. But in many ways, some tasks are really just tasks. They're just a little bit more complicated. So for me, like this, to strike a balance, for example, giving the webinar example that I gave today in this webinar. So we had a project called Webinar. Okay, so in this project called Webinar, we have many tasks. And many people have many responsibilities. And so it's really a project. There's no way around it. There are so many things to prepare for this webinar. You have no idea, really, to make this webinar run so smoothly, and to be able to meet right now, and the technology that works, and everything that all the preparation that came here that led us all to be here right now. Lots of work. Just saying. But so apart from that, there is like one task for me: create presentation, which I mentioned as well, and this task, create a presentation, could be project of its own, because to create a presentation, what I have to do an outline, get some content, research, and then after the outline, I have to revise the outline. I have to ask Natalia for feedback on the outline. Then I have to create the PowerPoint. I don't use PowerPoint. I use Keynote. So Keynote slides, like all these things. So there are several steps, but this is a good example of a task remaining a task. I just add a comment, a checklist, and we have checklists in Nozbe. And then in this checklist, I just write, create outline, ask Natalia for feedback, create a post outline to the team, create a first version of slides, ask for feedback, and everything, all these steps. Because come on, if I would create a presentation, another project, I would have to invite people over and everything, it would just be complicated. So because this task is just a complex task, it doesn't require so much input, it doesn't require so much effort from everyone else. It requires effort from me, and it requires me to keep, to keep a rhythm, to keep an order of things. So this is what I do. So very often, if a task is just bigger task, I add a checklist. But if I see that, and in Nozbe it works very well, and I do it very, very often. So what I do is I write a task, I write a checklist, but when I realize that the checklist is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it gets more complicated, I'm like, no, hell no. This is not a task, this is a project. Luckily, if I have a task with this long checklist, what I can do is I can click on 3 dots at the end of the task, and there's a very nice option to convert this to a project. When I click convert to a project, Nozbe automatically creates a project with the name of the task, and all these checklist items become my tasks. Done. Then
Which is great, because sometimes you just don't realize that a simple task may become like a huge project of yours. So
exactly. Yeah. So it's just the flow is so good, and in Nozbe we just, I mean, I'm here playing my own horn, but really we nailed it, because I have a task, I create a checklist, and then I realize if this is still a task or should I make it a project. But then again, because I have a checklist, it's already done. Convert to project, done. Then I just invite some people over. For example, if I want other people to participate in this project, we start delegating tasks. Boom, the whole thing just works. So this is a flow I would recommend: task, checklist, and then project or not. You will decide for yourself. And you have to find the balance. I'm not going to tell you. You have to find your balance when you feel it's like a project and when you feel it's just still a task that just requires few simple steps. Usually, the idea is very simple. If one of the checklist items requires a different date or different parameter, it means it's a project. Because if it's just a simple step and doesn't require any other parameters, it's a task. It's just a simple, one of the steps to get the task done. Right?
Exactly. So yeah, but the thing is that you just have to decide for yourself. Like you just have to see, and with time, I think it becomes easier to like. It's just easier to assess whether it's going to be a task and it's going to remain your task, or is it just going to be a project, and you'll see that it's going to come in easier for you.
But this is precisely why we never introduced subtasks, because we don't believe in subtasks, because they create, special artificial hierarchy. It just gets too complicated. But thanks to the checklist, you can choose if this is just a checklist or this is a list of tasks that have to be converted to a project. So you really can decide and then act accordingly. And we think this is just healthier, and it's more straightforward, and it's just more focused than just having, subtasks, and having a tree of tasks, and later just being totally swamped by it.
Exactly, and it wouldn't be possible to convert the checklist or the task into a project then, because like you wouldn't know if the subtask of the subtask would become the new task or the So that's why keeping it simple is the best idea. All right. So thanks for that. And now this is more of a personal question, but I think it's an interesting one. So David asks, Michael, I saw a YouTube video of you back in 2010 or 2011. What happened? You look much better and younger now than you did then. What is your secret?
Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Um, yeah. So basically, you're asking why I was chubby and I'm not chubby anymore, right? So, yeah. Well, I started eating healthier. I went on a diet as well, and I actually, if you write in Google search slow carb diet Sliwinski or slow carb diet Michael, you will basically find my article. And or Michael or sliwinski.com/slow-carb-diet. I mean, there's all the explanation there. I went on a diet. I started doing more sports. I started running, doing triathlons. I have another race. I have a race in a little more just a week. So next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, I have a race. I'm really excited about it. It's my first race this year. So I'm doing sports. Yeah, and I have a great company that I'm running, and I have a great team. So, but yeah, I had it back then, but I wasn't just um, keeping myself in shape, and that was it. I mean, right now, really, I'm eating healthier. I'm more conscious about what I'm eating, and also I'm just doing lots of sports. And I think this helps me, be better in shape and be a better CEO of this company as well, and be a better productivity guy and webinar presenter for you, because I can do these webinars and still be on top of my game. I'm gonna be really tired after all this, but right now I'm really excited. I'm really fine. So yeah, basically, sports, diet, and really, I'm gonna be okay. So personal question. I'm gonna get even more personal. So on Saturday, the day after tomorrow, I'm gonna turn 38. So I'm gonna have birthday, 38. So I'm really reaching 40. I'm creeping up to 40. Very close. What it means is that at this age you have to just be mindful about things, because the body that you were given is no longer as healthy as it used to be when you were a student. So now you just have to be more mindful about it. So in my case, yeah, I had to make some changes, and it wasn't easy. It took quite a while. It took a few years to make these changes, but thanks for noticing this. I'm really happy about it, and I really feel great, and I really feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. That's true.
Okay, and and this is a question from me actually, but I assume that you used Nozbe to like to set your goals and to set your perfect weight, or to like plan your diet or plan your sports and everything. So would you give any advice to our listeners today, how to use Nozbe and how to use its features to lose weight, or I don't know, start running or start cycling or something like that?
Okay, so totally. Well, I can talk about it for hours. So there we are. No more questions now. Okay, so now, first of all, for me, one of the key features and one of the key, not features, but one of the key habits of a proactive person is a good morning routine. So and my morning routine actually is run by a task called morning routine. It's in my private project. It's called morning routine. I have a special project called fitness, actually, and then I have a task called morning routine, and there is a checklist there, actually. So I wake up and there's a checklist of things I have to do in the morning, like simple things like I have to go to the toilet, I have to shave, I have to step on the weight and weight myself, and then I put the and what I do is the checklist is pinned. You can pin a comment in Nozbe, so it's a pinned checklist, so I can still add additional comments. So as additional comments, I add some information. For example, today I weighed this, and then I feel like this, or like I very often add some comments there. And so this way I have like a journal, like a log of comments of how I was feeling, on these days. And then I go through the checklist. I go to to step on the scale. I create. I do some exercise. I have my coffee. I have my water with lemon. So all these things that I need to do in the morning. So I have my morning routine, and this is a repeating task every day. And I complete the task once I'm done, and then next day it shows up again with the checklist empty, so I have to fill it out again. So this is like the basic thing. And also I have my trainings set up in Nozbe. So for example, I do triathlons, and triathlons means I have to train 3 sports. So I do on Monday and Friday I do swimming. On Tuesday and Thursday I do running, and on Wednesday optionally, and on Saturday optionally, depending, I do cycling. And I have them all as tasks for each day, for repeating weekly. So I have a task for Monday, I have a task for Friday, and again, I treat them as journals. So for example, if Monday comes, I have a task, swimming session on Monday, and I do the swimming session. And before I close the task, I write a comment. So today was good, I did that, or it was slow, well, I did that, and then I make it done. And this way, I have a complete log of what I was doing, and with this log, it inspires me to be better, because if I see, the swimming task appearing every week, but I didn't do swimming, it's kind of embarrassing to myself. I'm like, I should be going right now to the gym or to the swimming pool. So this way, really, with the repeating tasks, with logging things in the comment section and using checklists, it's really a great way to it's I don't need an additional app for that. There are so many fitness apps and things, but with this, with a fitness project and with these tasks set up, it's really cool, and I use it to this day.
And also, what's really handy, we recommend going to our Nozbe.how website, where you can find great templates for jogging, for how to start running, how to lose weight and everything. And you can also make your own template if you have a great way to lose weight or to get lean, to get in shape or something. You can add it, you can make a template of it in your Nozbe, and then you can share this template, and it's going to, we can publish it on our Nozbe.how website, so that other users and other people can also download it to their Nozbe and use it, and maybe just get leaner and lose some weight thanks to you. So that's also one of the features that are really handy.
Yeah, I mean, for example, there are several training sessions for jogging that Martin actually created, and they're really good. I tried one, but I have to admit I didn't stick to it because I didn't have the time to do runs 4 times a week. I was just too busy with work, and 2 times a week I can run, but 4 times a week, it was just too much for me. And I still wanted to do the other sports. So in the end, I didn't stick to the routine, but maybe in the summer, because the summer is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to have any race. So maybe in the summer, I'm going to just, again, import the Nozbe.how template again and just focus on the running. So we'll see how this goes. But there is a template. It's there, and you can import it to Nozbe, and it's so easy. And then you can just, start running. So like the best thing is that Martin and other people already translated the information in different articles as a template. So what you do is just you import this from Nozbe.how to your Nozbe as a template. You create a project, and you have it step by step. And this is really magic. For me, Nozbe.how in this way, it's really magic.
It's great, and especially that you can import the template, but you can edit it afterwards. So you can reschedule it, just like you said. Like you didn't follow the template because you couldn't make it 4 times a week to jog. But you can just edit the tasks and put different dates on it, and just make your own. So that's a great feature.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our time is nearly up. So that was the last question of the day. So Michael, thank you for sharing all your tips and tricks, and for teaching us how to be more productive when working in a team. And thank you guys for joining us here today. We hope you liked it. We hope you found it inspiring. And if you have any suggestions or questions or feedback, please let us know. Just write to us on questions@nozbe.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. And Michael, do you have any closing remarks for today?
Yeah, we are really, because we are a growing company, we really are exploring all these ways how to work better, how to work more efficiently. And we are famous or infamous for the fact that we don't have an office. We all work from homes. So we are already a little bit, different. in all the companies. But we also experiment with the meetings and everything else. So, for example, when this pyramid of communication, we are really mindful about our meetings. We try to have them as few as possible. And if the meeting is not, we are not prepared for the meeting, we just don't have it anymore. Like it's we work on this. And so, so in the future, we'll be also adding more like team-friendly features to Nozbe. So if you want to try Nozbe in the team, try Nozbe business accounts, like by all means do it, because this is like also the direction that we're going, to make sure that not only you get organized, but your team gets organized, and you can get organized together, because it's just more fun, it's just easier, more structured, less stress, so everything there. So now it's a great time to start using Nozbe in a team, because this way you just get better results. And that's why now is a good moment, because we have a super offer. So normally we don't have this offer. So up until tomorrow, just you could really set up your team, expand your team, or try the Nozbe business accounts, and just just buy it and just see how this works. And I think you're gonna love it, because we are tweaking this system, we are working on the system, but we are using the system also, and like our entire company is in Nozbe. So for me, like even if I have a new device, like like a few months ago when I bought a new iPad, I just installed Nozbe, and I knew that with Nozbe I'm already good. Everything, like all the other apps were secondary. The most important thing was I wanted to have my Nozbe account, and this way I had access to like everything that I wanted to have from my company. So try it, and try it with a small group first in your team, and then later you'll see how this expands, and how it we already have a few teams where just the Nozbe virus is just spreading. So like one team uses it, and then the other teams also is asking, yeah, what are you doing, why are you so happy, or whatever. So they start using Nozbe as well. So we get lots of testimonials like that, and it gets us excited. And yeah, so try this, try not using it only at home, but also with your team. And it's Nozbe is it's priced low enough for a team to really buy it very easily, but on the other hand, it's really it pays in dividends because of your level of stress and everything else just going down. So I encourage you to check it out. Now it's still a time to really make this year fantastic, and it's only May, so there's still lots to do, and then just before the holidays, really set up for success. And I would try that.
Okay, thank you so much. And go check out our promotion. It's still on until tomorrow, so make sure to check it out. And we'll see you on our future webinars. So take care, guys, and take care, Michael. Bye.